they step out of the relationship. It's just a technicality.
Right. I know. So seriously though, like if take some time if you need, but how do you feel about polygamy? No. You know why, bro? Because you know what? This talk needs to be expressed. Because I'm gonna tell you like this. A long time ago, I mean, I never really thought on the shit, but now that I think about it, especially now being in the truth, it's not about just the sex.
Well, but you're correct. But the thing is, like, girls, the majority of girls I've talked to who are like, no, I never do that. All they can think about is sex.
That's it.
Oh no, you're gonna be fucking her and fucking. Like, all you thinking about is God. You're thinking about sex more than me.
Like, come on, damn. About that.
That's why. Okay, so when you're asking, you're saying if the female can also.
No, that's not polygyny.
That's not polygyny.
That's polyamory. I had to get on somebody's ass.
You did?
All right, Shalom. All right, I want to give all praise to Yahawah Ba'ashim Yahawashi. This is your brother Rikaga Bar. Okay, and yeah, man, I want to jump into this lesson here. All right, as you seen, I just played a little clip from the Sakari group. All right, here is Urban Gorilla. All right, and I don't really, know the other dude's name. Okay, and we know these dudes go off in a lot of they teachings. Okay, but nonetheless, man, this topic here, I do want to talk about this today. All right, dealing with polygamy. Okay, and I guess more accurately, all right, polygyny. Okay, because ultimately polygamy, okay, is when an individual, whether it be a male or female, okay, have multiple partners. Okay, but specifically what we're going to talk about, man, is the one that is acceptable, all right, and the one that is biblical, which is polygyny. Okay, polygyny, man, which is when a male, all right, a man has multiple wives. Okay, multiple wives. All right, now you see in this clip, okay, that they ultimately asked her how she feels about polygamy. Okay, and in her mind, all right, not having understanding, all right, she thought that polygamy meant polyamory, which I believe they say it in this video, but polyamory, man, is when you have 3 or more people in a relationship, all right, and they all have relations with each other. Okay, so for example, if you had a man and 2 women in a polyamory type relationship, all right, the man will be able to sleep with the woman, or the women, and the women will be able to sleep with each other, and they'd all have relationships. Okay, which that is completely wicked, all right, and completely not acceptable, all right, in the eyes of the Most High. Okay, but yeah, man, what I'm gonna do in this lesson, all right, is talk about polygyny. Okay, and ultimately the title of this lesson will be something along the lines of polygyny was a commonplace practice before the Greco-Roman Empire. Okay, polygyny was a commonplace practice, man, in many cultures and societies before the Greco-Roman Empire. Okay, and I have an excerpt that I want to read from. Okay, from this scholar, all right, or this Edomite writer from Stanford University. Okay, because oftentimes when we as the men of the Lord try to come at you with some this information, all right, are we talking about polygamy? Okay, a lot of women have issues with that. Okay, a lot of women, just like this woman here. Okay, which I'll rewind, I'm gonna play it back again. Okay, just like this woman here, man, they get they get emotional about it. All right, they think it's not fair, and they have a low level of understanding, all right, when it comes to polygamy. Okay, just like he said in the video, man, it's not just about the sex. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to actually make this just an informative lesson, all right, Lord willing, an edifying lesson, going over polygyny, man, and going over how we have laws concerning if you're a man and you want to take on multiple wives. Okay, the Most High deals with order, man, so of course there's laws with that. Okay, how you're not supposed to diminish from the first wife. Okay, and really that's what a lot of these women they have a problem with it, because they get emotional, man. They get emotional, all right, and they ultimately have a problem with it because they feel like it's not fair. Well, we're gonna grab some we're gonna grab and show you, man, the benefits of a polygynous relationship. Okay, now understand, this it's not for everybody. Okay, it's but what I want to do in this lesson is show you that it was a commonplace practice, all right, in many cultures, not just the Israelite culture. Okay, a lot of ancient kingdoms, okay, practice polygamy, man. And the fact that it will be commonplace practice in the kingdom. Okay, it will be a commonplace practice in the kingdom, man. So while it's entitled, polygyny was a commonplace practice before the Greco-Roman Empire, is because you're going to see once I read that excerpt, man, that ultimately the Greeks and the Romans, okay, they were big on homosexuality, and orgies, and they were big on that sexual immorality, man. They had the, that sodomite spirit, okay, on them heavy, all right? And ultimately they had it to where, you couldn't have more than one spouse, all right? The Greeks and Romans had it to where you couldn't have more than one spouse. And what you're going to find out, man, is that America, as a lot of people know, man, is Rome all over again, okay? America's Rome all over again, man. You see that, with their national bird dealing with the bald eagle, okay? You see that with their different coliseums, okay? Their different, their architecture, all right? Even the Greeks, okay? You see, you go to these colleges, okay? They're big on the frats and sororities, which is all rooted in Greek culture, man. Greco-Roman culture, okay? Because America, all it is ultimately, those different kingdoms all over again, okay? But what I'm going to do in this lesson, man, Lord willing, this is edifying, all right? So we'll go ahead and play it back, all right? Because what you find out, man, is that it's more to polygyny, all right, than just sex, okay? Women get hung up on that because they don't have no understanding, okay? They get emotional because they've been brainwashed by a westernized modern society, okay? And just because they've been blinded to how things had been done, all right, and how, they're still done in different third world countries, all right? Just because they've been blinded by that, man, they have a problem with polygyny, okay? And that's probably, where that all of the other types of poly came from, like polyamory and polyandry and, all those different things that are just completely wicked, man. There's only one, polygyny that is acceptable, all right, in these scriptures, okay? And that's when a man has multiple wives, man. And no, those wives do not sleep with each other, okay? That is sodomitish behavior, all right? That is... The scriptures tell you, man, you're not supposed to lay down with, mankind like that of the same sex, okay? And a lot of these people, man, they know they're not supposed to do it, okay? They know that, that wouldn't be right, but they don't care, okay? Ultimately, a lot of women, all right, if not all of them, okay, feel how this woman's feel when you talk about polygamy, okay? They feel the same way, man. They feel as though they should be able to lay with the other woman, okay, which that is completely not allowed, okay, completely not allowed, man. So let me play this back, all right, and Lord's willing, this lesson is edifying.
You're not,
shit.
You're not legally, but legally you might not be divorced, but people will separate and they'll be like they've stepped out of the relationship. It's just a technicality,
right?
Earn your degree faster at Purdue University Global. With over 175.
Right. I know, seriously though, like if take some time if you need, but how do you feel about polygamy? No. You know what? You know why, bro? Because you know what? This talk needs to be expressed. Because I'm gonna say.
All right, and before I play it again, man, yeah, this is something that needs to be talked about because, you're gonna find out that a lot of people frown upon polygyny, man. A lot of people frown upon it, especially women. Now, and it makes sense because we live in like modern America, okay? We live in a modern world, in a westernized society to where all they seen growing up is ultimately what Esau has perpetuated and allowed them to see, man. They don't understand. We go, these different third world countries, all right, different African countries, okay? Different, different countries, man, and different cultures around the world still practice polygamy to this day, okay? But a lot of people, especially these westernized women, don't realize that because they, due to women's empowerment and feminism, okay, have been told that they are just, the queens of this earth, Okay, they've been placed on pedestals so much that they would never think that something as polygyny should be allowed. Okay, but ultimately, man, it doesn't matter how you feel about the subject. Okay, your emotions do not matter. Okay, this is way bigger than you. Okay, and it's way more to it than just sex, man. And you women fail to realize that because you're emotional and, you know, due to brainwashing and programming, all right, in this westernized society, okay, all you've seen is how Esau has told you things should be. Okay, but when Esau tells you, you know, that 2 women can get married or 2 men can get married, all right, you don't see any problem with that. Okay, when they tell you, you know, that you can change your gender, all right, if you want to be a woman as a man, you can do that. Or if you want to be a man as a woman, you can do that. And y'all have no problem with that. Okay. Esau tells you, you know, that you can identify as a dog or a cat. Y'all have no problem with that, man. If, you know, you, anything, man, you want to subscribe to the alphabet community. All right. Be a pedophile. All right. You women don't really raise hell when it concerning those issues, man. You know, now maybe pedophilia, all right, might strike a nerve. Okay. But the other things I mentioned, man, you women have no problem, okay, with, you know, Esau telling you and allowing you to be a homosexual, okay, or to change your gender, okay, which you can't change your gender, man. How you born is how you born, okay. You got a male spirit, you got a female spirit, period, okay. But you women have no problem with that. But when it comes to, you know, when it comes to a man speaking of polygyny, all right, a man having multiple wives, that's when you women have a problem. That's when you're like, oh no, that's not fair. I should be able to sleep with her too. That is no, man, hell no. Okay, scriptures don't ever support that. Okay, and it's completely contrary to the laws of the Bible. Okay, that would ultimately lead to your destruction, man. Anybody, you know, participating in a polyamorous or polyandry, which is when a woman has multiple husbands, okay, or literally anything besides polygynous, man, you know, it is going off. Okay, it's going off, man. And you know, I forgot what I was going to say, but I'll go ahead and play this. All right, and then yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get on this topic, man, because a lot of women, y'all have problems with this. Okay, but like you're gonna find out, it was commonplace practice before the Edomite Greeks and Romans came into place. All right, with their whole sodomite spirit and changed shit up. Okay, it's gonna be commonplace once these current Edomites are destroyed. Okay, so it really doesn't matter how you feel about it, right? It really doesn't matter, man. And we can tell you all day that, you know, polygyny is coming back, but you women don't have understanding of the scriptures. Okay, you don't want to listen, right? You have a problem with listening to it. You're very emotional and irrational. So, you know, as soon as we start speaking on it, all right, it's instantly, nah, I'll never do that. I'll do the one with polyamory, okay, or I'll do polyandry so he can see how I feel. Like, you women have a low level of thinking, man. All right, it's way more to it than that, and we're gonna cover that. All right, so let's go ahead and play the rest of this video. All right.
Because I'm gonna tell you like this. A long time ago, I mean, I never really thought on this shit, but now that I think about it, especially now being in the truth, it's not about just the sex.
Well, and the thing, no, but you're correct. But the thing is, like, girls, the majority of girls I've talked to who are like, no, I never do that. All they can think about is sex.
And yeah, man, that's so true, because and this is really for these modern westernized women, man, because there are women in different cultures, okay, that they grew up completely different than how you modern, especially you so-called black women, okay, because this, you know, really concerning all modern women over here in America, okay, and even different parts, you know, around the globe, like Europe, Canada, okay, but this is going out to you Israelites, man. And mainly you so-called black women, you know, and the Latino women, all right? But mainly you know, you so-called black and Latino women, man, y'all have a problem with this, okay? But there are women around the world, okay, that accept and understand that as a way of life, okay? You women have just been brainwashed, man, and it's completely understandable, all right? Because, you know, this is what you grew up in. This is what Esau shoved down your throat, all right? This is what you see on media and in TV, okay? But you need to understand, all right, that this world is bigger than you, okay? The world does not revolve around you women, man. And there are other, you know, women around the world that accept, all right, and embrace that type of lifestyle, because they know what it brings to them. Okay, they know what it brings to their family. Okay, they know it's beneficial in many, many ways. Okay, many ways, which we're going to cover those things, man. All right.
Oh no, you're gonna be fucking her and fucking.
Hey,
Like,
Mike,
all you thinking about is God.
that's
You
it.
thinking about sex more than me,
Like,
motherfucker.
come
God
on,
damn.
about that.
That's why. Okay, so when you're asking, you're saying if the female can also.
No, that's not polygyny.
That's not polygyny.
That's polyamory.
Yeah.
I had to get on somebody's ass.
You did?
Some girl came up, she was like, "Oh, you're in a poly." I said, "I'm not no goddamn poly. What the fuck is you talking about?"
Well, what's the difference if a woman does that? What's the difference? You might as well just say you like Will and Jada, open relationship.
Well, yeah, you got polyandry, which is just polyandry is like the woman that got more, and the man don't. Polyamory is like everybody's out here. Everybody's doing.
That's
You
the
know
one
what
that I want to be in, so that he can.
Wow.
He can feel what I'm feeling.
You're just saying. You don't mean
No,
it.
because it's not.
No, but you don't mean that because well,
it's not
she might.
fair.
You mean it?
It's not fair that he can,
So wait a
Is
minute.
life fair?
So yeah. So hold on. So
It's not fair because you are just a lustful creature that just want to be out here, laying with the same sex, man. Just say that. Just say that because it's not fair to her because of her lust, man. Like, what else is not fair about it, okay? There's nothing that as a woman you can do to satisfy another woman, man, that is contrary to nature, okay? That's completely contrary to nature, okay? There are different hormones that men have, all right, that makes them a male, okay? There are hormones that females have that makes them a female, man. And that attraction between the male and the female is what is natural, okay? A male has something that he can give to a female, all right? And then they become a union, all right? They become one flesh, man, as you read in the scriptures, okay? You don't get that from two females, man. That shit is completely unnatural and it's backwards, man. You talking about fair, all right? This that is you don't understand, okay? She doesn't understand, man, that it's more to it than your emotions, okay? Because oftentimes, in ancient cultures, when they, were marriage wasn't even only about how you feel, okay? Marriage wasn't even about love, man. And you can look into any ancient culture, all right? When they would give their bride off to marriage, man, that was about some type of a trade agreement, okay? They was doing that, to get land, right? To gain a relationship with another nation, okay, or another tribe, okay? You women are just so sprung out, like I said, man, in your emotions, all right, and thinking irrationally, okay? She not understanding that if she had a legit sister wife, okay, that she was not laying with, okay, just a legit sister wife, that is someone who you can communicate with, all right, on an emotional level you can talk to, okay? That is someone that will help, all right, take duties around the house, okay? You women don't, a lot of you women don't like to cook and clean anyways, okay? So that woman will be able to take, a part of the load, all right? There's more that, is brought to the table with different minds, okay? We all have different skills and different abilities, okay? Raising so many different benefits, man, which I'm actually going to grab and show you, okay? But these women, like they said, man, they're just thinking about the sex, okay? These women are just thinking about the sex, okay? Because ultimately, women are, they're just, they don't think about things rationally most of the time, man. They don't, okay? So let's see here. Yeah, before I finish playing it, I want to jump over and show you that, polygyny, man, was it was a practice within, all right, the Israelite culture, okay? And what you find out is that it wasn't just Israelites that was in polygyny, man. You can do the history, do the research, man. You find that out real quick, okay? A lot of ancient cultures, man, really up until the Greeks and the Romans came into place, okay? Them damn Edomites were into polygyny, okay? When you read through the Bible, man, you read about the men of the Lord, all right, that had multiple wives, man. And some of them, all right, primarily King Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines, okay? 700 wives and 300 concubines. Now, he was a king, right? He was wealthy, okay? So he was able to take care of them like that. But still, man, you got to understand that the problem with the Most High is not having multiple wives. The problem is if your heart is led astray from having multiple wives, for example, as a man, if you have a wife, you know, and she might not be in the truth, okay, it's, you know, you dealing with all of those different, you know, emotions, and dealing with those, you know, different women could potentially lead you astray, man. And that was ultimately what happened with King Solomon. Okay. He dealt with a lot of heathen women and ultimately, you know, start, you know, erecting altars and different things to their gods. Okay. And that's when the problem comes into play. The problem is not having multiple wives, man, because obviously Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, with him allowing that, all right, understands, you know, that that is very beneficial to a family, man. That is very beneficial in truly building a nation. Okay. When you understand it, when you take your pride out of the way, when you take your emotions out of the way, and you, you know, have a, you know, more vast view of the world than just the box you've been living in, you understand why, you know, it's a, why it would make sense, okay, to have a polygynous relationship. Okay. It's beneficial to everyone. Okay. Literally beneficial to every member. All right. In that relationship. Okay. But yeah, I have this little chart pulled up, man. Just, you know, just a quick, you know, if you want to screenshot this and go, you know, do the research or whatever, man, that a lot of the men of the Lord in the Bible had multiple wives. Okay. Now, you know, I'll just leave this here. You know, I don't even need to really go over it, but you can see, man, that, we go down to the final row. All right. It says polygyny, which is when a man has multiple women, 2 or more. Okay. 3 or more. It doesn't matter, man. As long as you're able ultimately, you know, to you know, care for those women. All right. And you don't diminish from the first woman. Okay. Which obviously when we go into our law, man, the Most High has it to where you're not supposed to diminish from the first woman. So obviously you are taking her emotions into account. Okay. Because the problem most women have with it is they ultimately feel some type of way. It's not fair. Why do you get to do it and I don't, or whatever the case may be, man. But if you're still being taken care of, what is the problem? Okay, what's the problem? The only way a man would, you know, take away from the first woman is if, you know, they weren't doing well. Okay, they was, you know, they had problems. You know, they fighting and they got problems. All right, but even that is not allowed. Okay, the Most High tells us that we're not allowed to diminish from the first woman. All right. So even your, you know, even you women's emotions are taken into the equation, man. They are taken into equation because, all right, as a man, all right, you know, if you were in a polygynous relationship, you know, biblically, you're not allowed to ultimately treat the first wife any less, man. All right. You're not allowed to treat her any less. Okay. A lot of women get emotional because they think that it's cheating, right? Because they've been indoctrinated and brainwashed in this westernized society, and they think that if a man has multiple women, he's cheating on the first one. Okay, that's not what cheating is, man. That's not committing adultery. Okay, committing adultery for a man, all right, would be a man laying with another man's wife. Okay, that is what a committing adultery is for a man. Okay, or a woman. All right, laying with any other man besides her husband, okay, or besides the man that she is dealing with, man. You don't get to just be out here sleeping around with anybody, okay? The scriptures tell you there shall be no whores of the daughters of Zion, okay? You Israelite women, you so-called blacks and Latinos are not supposed to be out here sleeping around, man. That man, you know, that you with is that's the man you need to be with, okay? Period. All right, and for the men, okay. We not supposed to be out here, okay, laying with no other man's wife. All right. But yeah, I said that to say because a lot of people think that if a man has multiple women, he's cheating on the first woman. Okay. That's not, the scriptures don't talk about no cheating, man. That's just shit that's made up, you know, in these times. All right. They made that shit up. Okay. They're cheating, man. There's no cheating. Okay. Unless, you know, you're a woman. All right. That is sleeping around with other men, okay, that is committing adultery. All right, and that is punishable. All right, that's gonna lead to death. All right, you know, that's gonna lead to your death. Okay. Well, yeah, man, polygyny, man. You know, you see all these different characters in the Bible that had multiple women. Okay, multiple women. All right, and even Esau, back during, you know, those ancient times, thousands of years ago, had multiple wives, man. All right. Even Esau did. Okay. She tell you that Esau is a so-called white man. All right. You read about how he came out with leprosy. All right. You women have a problem with, the so-called black men or the men of the Lord telling you that, or talking about polygamy. But guess what? This is not just an Israelite thing. Okay. We weren't the only ones who were on polygyny. Okay. And yeah, man, you see this chart in front of you. King David, all right, had multiple wives, okay, and concubines, all right, even heathen concubines, all right, which so did King Solomon, all right. And the Most High tells you how David, was perfect in the eyes of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi, okay. David was perfect, man. So if he had multiple wives, okay, and concubines, some of which were heathen, okay, and that wasn't, a problem in the eyes of the Most High, then what is the problem with you women? Why do you have a problem with it? Okay. Like I said, this is bigger than you. Okay. Your emotions on the matter really do not matter. Okay. They don't matter. All right. All right. And you go into Genesis 16, it goes into how a man, if a man has a woman, all right, and that woman has property, he also, all right, takes that property. Okay. It says a man could acquire his wife's property, including her slaves. Okay. Which really, you go into the ancient cultures, man, that's kind of similar to a dowry. Okay. Which I'm going to go into a dowry as well. Okay. But yeah, man, you see this depicted here. So I'm not going to, read it all individually, but you can definitely screenshot this. All right. All right. So let's go back here, man. And we'll go ahead and, first, I want to read, all right, from this article that I have here pulled up, going into the advantages, all right, 10 benefits of polygyny, all right, of polygyny, man, which these are all valid, okay? Like I said, do the research, okay? Do the research, and most women, right, because you're the main ones who have a problem with this, won't do it because you're too emotional, man. You're irrational and you just haven't made up in your mind that I'm not, whatever, man. It doesn't matter because it's coming back, all right? It is coming back. Okay, now let's go over the benefits of polygyny. All right. All right. The first one, it says polygyny supports a man's biological drive to procreate. Okay. It supports a man's biological drive to procreate, man. So by design, okay, men are designed to have multiple women. Okay. You understand it, man. You women, all right. You have your periods every month. Okay. You ultimately have a cycle. Okay. You produce, you produce an egg. Okay. And you have your cycles every month, man. But a man, okay, which I don't know the number, but a man is able to produce a certain amount of sperm, okay, daily. All right, a high number daily, okay. And I don't know the exact number. Okay, I could research it. I could look it up real quick. All right, let's see here. All right, because this needs to be talked about. All right. All right, it says several million sperm per day, man. That is crazy. All right, that is wild. Okay, so yeah, man, just biologically how we're designed, we produce a lot. Okay, we produce the seeds, man, that pollinate, or not pollinate, but that go into your egg, okay? But how your women are designed, man, y'all are not designed, to be in any type of polyandry relationship, okay? Having multiple men, okay? That is completely backwards, okay? Y'all biological nature is not, to procreate as much as we do, okay? That's why a lot of men had multiple wives, okay? Because if you get one wife, you knock her up, okay? And when she's gonna be pregnant for 9 months, okay, you can't even really do anything with her during her pregnancy, man. That's damn near an entire year, okay? While she's, raising and, nurturing that child in her womb, okay? So you see that? You got to understand, man, that biologically, all right, it does support a man's biological drive, okay? It says polygyny provides sexual diversity and satisfaction to the husband, okay, which is true, all right? When a man has multiple women, okay, of course, the variety, all right, is the spice of life, okay? And yeah, you'll have a problem with, me saying this, but it's true, man. And that should make you feel better than having to worry, if is he trying to talk to other women, or is he dealing with other women, or you women, how you thinking now? Is he cheating on me? Nah, well, if we in a polygynous relationship, you know what's going on, okay? You know what's going on. No need for no need to hide anything, man. You already know what's going on, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that, okay? It says polygyny provides additional help with domestic duties to the wife. And this is a big one you women need to understand, man. This shit would help y'all drastically, okay? Drastically. A lot of you women, if you just admit it, man, you don't even like to cook and clean all the damn time, especially, in this modern world when, you work as well, okay? So tell me that having an extra hand or two sets of hands, all right, around the house wouldn't be beneficial, all right? It says polygyny provides wives with more sisters to fellowship with, okay? Sister wives. Like I said earlier, man, you can be able to talk with her, right? Chop it up with her, get a new best friend, okay? Etc. Okay? And if you women were just admitted that this, admitted and these, these are perks and benefits, then that would be one thing. But, being as emotional as most of you women are, man, that's not going to happen, okay? It says polygyny creates more children, larger families, and micro communities, equating to safety and strength. Okay, I mean, a man's able to procreate with more than one woman at a time. I mean, obviously, they'd have a lot more children. Okay, all right, and you got to look at these things, man, from a not from just a small narrow mindset, man. You gotta really think, okay, and look at these things, all right, how beneficial this will be. It says polygyny can grow a family's business and wealth through the service and talent of the wives and children. So you see that? So like I said, all the the wives would have different talents, okay, different gifts and strong suits, all right, and so would the children, okay. And where one wife would fall short, another wife would have that, could potentially have that strong suit, okay. This is really, truly nation building here, man. That's why, we did that, all right, in our culture, okay? Because we were building, man, all right? It says polygyny provides security and support for widowed and single mothers, okay? All right, so think about that, okay? You women, have a problem with the men, wanting to because you think it's just about sex, okay? Well, what about a single woman, all right, or a single mother, okay, or a widow mother, okay? If you care so much, about it, then, all right, take those things into consideration, okay? Polygyny provides every woman with a husband. No woman has to be single, okay? Which there are way more women on the planet Earth than men, okay? Which is why it's why how things are set up, polygyny is coming back, and this is just why it's just natural, man. There's just more women on the earth than men, anyways, okay? And when it comes back, we're not going to be living in a modernized society, okay? In the kingdom, things are going to be righteous, all right? Things are going to be a lot different than how they look right now, okay? They're going to be a lot different than how they look right now, okay? It's not going to be any feminism or women's empowerment, and, all that shit's going to be out the way, man, all right? It says if a patriarch has a wife who is lacking in an area, polygyny provides another wife to fill the void, okay? And it says polygyny forms alliances between tribes and nations through intermarriage for unity, power, and wealth, okay? You see that? So y'all just thought it was about fucking sex, man. But when the ancient cultures practiced these things, they was doing that so they could have alliances, man, with other tribes and nations, all right, for unity, power, and wealth, okay? You women, y'all like to live a high life, okay? Y'all like, to go out and, spend money, okay? Polygyny supports that. Polygyny supports wealth, man, okay? You women really got a lot to contemplate on, okay? You got a lot to contemplate on, man. There are a lot of benefits to polygynous relationship, okay? And to why it was practiced commonplace and why it will be commonplace again, okay? But yeah, man. So since I left off on that, that last point, dealing with how it ultimately formed alliances, right? Built unity and power and wealth. Let's go ahead and grab the definition of a dowry. Okay, a dowry, right? Let's go ahead and get to a dowry, man. It says, what is a dowry? All right, dowries are sets of assets, all right, money, material, goods, or real estate that a bride's family gifts to a groom when the two are wed. Okay. So understand a lot of ancient cultures, man, and societies use dowries. Okay. A lot of them use dowries. Okay. So, let's go ahead and continue, right? Because this goes into how, having multiple wives, you can see why having multiple wives back then would have built wealth. You would have gained land, wealth, property, okay, etc. Okay, and this is what's called a dowry, man. It says the purpose of a dowry is often threefold. Okay, first, it gives the bride and groom the money and goods that they will need to build a home together. Okay, so already starting off, you building, man. You building. Okay, it says, second, the loss of a dowry gives the bride some manner of protection in cases where her husband becomes abusive and or the marriage ends in a divorce. Okay, let's see here. It says, lastly, dowries can serve as a kind of enticement to potential grooms, as a larger dowry could make a family's daughter seem more marriageable, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so yeah, man, it supports, wealth. It supports wealth, all right, and gaining land and power. This is why these things were done, okay, in ancient times. And this is why they'll be done again in the kingdom, okay? You have to have you gotta have like a nation building mindset, okay? Not just a narrow-minded, emotional, mind frame, okay? It says dowries are an ancient practice, right? They're practically as old as civilization itself, okay? Let's see, skip down. It says dowries were also commonplace in ancient Greece and the Roman Empire. While couples in modern day society often marry for love, ancient marriages were more like business arrangements. Okay, like I said earlier, man. In this context, the inclusion of a dowry and or a bride price makes a lot of sense. It's an exchange of assets in order to facilitate the desired merger. Okay, so they was doing it to gain land. Okay. They was doing it to gain land, man, to gain power, to gain wealth, okay, to build the family up, okay, to make it easier for that family structure, right? Everybody knows about the whole, the saying, it takes a village to raise a child, okay? Yeah, that would be completely supported in a polygynous relationship, okay? All right, now we're going ahead and grab the excerpt that I mentioned earlier, okay? Because this is really important, man, dealing with the fact that polygyny was a commonplace practice before the Greco-Roman Empire, okay? You have to understand that because I have two scriptures, all right, dealing with the Israelites ultimately in Greece and Rome who, start doing shit that the heathen was doing, okay? They start giving into the practices of the heathen, man. Heavy, especially dealing with homosexuality, all right, and that sodomite behavior, okay. But first I want to go ahead and grab this excerpt, all right, written by this guy named Walter Scheidel, all right, from Stanford University, okay. All right, it says see here, it says why Greco-Roman monogamy matters. Okay, now check this out, man. It says to a modern Western audience, the fact that ancient Greeks and Romans were not supposed to be married to more than one person at any given time, nor even to cohabit with others alongside legal spouses must seem perfectly normal. Okay, so yeah, that to a modern Western audience, okay, and this was written by Esau. Okay, this was written by Esau. Okay, it says to a modern Western audience, the fact that ancient Greeks and Romans were not supposed to be married to more than one person at any given time, nor even to cohabit with others alongside legal spouses must seem perfectly normal. Okay, I think it's safe to say that in America, man, different European, over in Europe, Canada, okay, these Edomite, kingdoms, it's safe to say that it is completely normal, right, that the Greeks and Romans were not supposed to be married to more than one person at a time, right? But here's the point. It says this may explain why this practice has received hardly any attention from historians of the classical world. Okay. Yeah, they don't want to talk about this, man. They don't talk to you. They don't teach you in school about how polygyny, all right, was very heavy and commonplace practice in ancient cultures. Okay? Why? Because Esau's the one in control of these damn, indoctrinated schools, man. And they just tell you what they want you to hear. Right? Check this out. It says, yet, right? Yet from a global cross-cultural perspective, there is nothing normal or unremarkable about this. Okay? So you see that? You got to stop having such a narrow-minded view, man. From a global and a cross-cultural perspective, dealing with everybody around the world, man. Different cultures, different societies, okay? There is nothing normal, okay, or unremarkable about the fact that the ancient Greeks and Romans were not supposed to be married to more than one person at a time, okay? Why? Because if we're going to continue reading, you're going to see that it was commonplace practice, okay, for many ancient cultures and societies to have polygynous, relationships, all right? It says, instead, until very recently, polygynous arrangements of marriage or cohabitation were the norm in world history. All right. You see that? Instead, until very recently, and this was written from Stanford University, man. All right. Until very recently, polygynous arrangements of marriage or cohabitation were the norm in world history, and strict monogamy remained an exception. Okay. You see that? All right. Now check this out. It says barely 1 in 6 of the 1,195 societies surveyed in the largest anthropological data set have been classified as monogamous, while polygyny was frequently considered the preferred choice, even if it failed to be common in practice. All right. So check that out, man. Majority, 5 out of 6 of the 5 out of 6 of the nearly 1,200 societies surveyed in the largest anthropological data set have been classified as polygynous. Okay, majority of the different cultures and societies classified as polygynous. Okay, only 1 out of 6 of that 1,200 societies classified as monogamous. Okay, so which one? When you understand numbers, what number is bigger, man? 1 or 5? Okay. Showing you that polygyny was the commonplace practice, okay, in ancient cultures, okay, up until recently, man, up until the Greeks and the Romans, okay, and that's what we about to go into, all right. But yeah, man, that statistic, all right. I don't know what that percentage is, okay. 1 out of 6, okay, that's around 15% or so, or 18%, okay, of the 1,200 societies surveyed, all right, were classified as monogamous. Okay, so that would mean that, over 60%, and I don't know the exact, percentage, over 60-some%, man, classified as polygynous. All right, because it was the main commonplace one. Okay, let's see here. It says, in fact, although the nature of the evidence does not allow us to rule out the existence of strictly monogamous systems prior to the first millennium BC, the earliest unequivocal documentation originates from the archaic Greek and early Roman periods. Okay. Thus, even though Greeks and Romans need not have been the first cultures to prescribe monogamy, these are the earliest securely attested cases, and moreover established a paradigm for subsequent periods that eventually attained global dominance. Okay, so understand that, right? That ultimately, dealing with the Greeks and the Romans, all right, not being able to allow to have more than one spouse, okay, that ultimately attained global dominance. Okay, you see that? All right, let me read it back, man. It says, moreover, establish a paradigm for subsequent periods that eventually attained global dominance, man. And that's why today, especially over here in this westernized modern America, to this day, all right, polygamy, all right, polygyny is frowned upon. Okay, polygyny is frowned upon. However, same-sex marriage is not. Okay, Same-sex marriage is not frowned upon, right? Orgies are not frowned upon, okay? Polyamory, okay, is less frowned upon than polygyny, okay? And they have a problem with it when it's a man having multiple wives because they understand, how, how ultimately how powerful that would be, okay? They ultimately understand how powerful that would be, man, and that's why they're against it, okay? It says, in this sense, Greco-Roman monogamy may well be the single most important phenomena of ancient history that has remained widely unrecognized. Wow. So that's why in school, man, they don't teach you that. They do not teach you that, man, that, most of the ancient cultures, all right, in societies practice polygyny. Now, does that mean that every single person in those cultures and societies were in a polygynous relationship? No, but it also means that it was not frowned upon. Okay, it was as commonplace as a monogamous relationship is today. Okay, all right, just like today, man, they shown media and TV. All right, what they call a nuclear family. With a man and one woman. And their children. Okay, just like that's commonplace today. Well, understand, man, that just recently, before the Greeks and the Romans, okay, before their way of a monogamous society attained global dominance, that it was just, it's common to see a man with multiple wives, okay, and humongous families, all right, in this earth, man. And it's coming back, right? It's coming back. But yeah, I wanted to grab this because, just, so you can hear it from, the white man himself, okay? So yeah, you gotta understand that, man. Before the Greeks and the Romans, all right, this was widely practiced, okay? Widely practiced, all right? So now I have another article here pulled up, just going into the culture of the Romans and the Greeks, okay? These are reasons as to why they didn't care for polygyny, because they was too busy laying with the same sex or being given into orgies, man. Which I'm not going to grab this whole article, okay? But I do want to grab some of it because, like I said earlier, I have two scriptures showing you that our people, you Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, were given into the practices and the ways of the heathen, okay? Before the Greeks and the Romans, those Edomites, okay, brainwashed you, just like they brainwashed you today in modern America, okay? You would have had no problem with a polygynous relationship, okay? You so-called black women would have had no problem with a polygynous relationship, okay? Or you Latino women, all right, period, okay? All right? But yeah, man, this article says Romosexuality, embracing queer sex and love in ancient times, okay? And you about to see, man, these Greco-Romans was just filthy, okay? Straight up filthy, man. And you always see it depicted in their paintings, all right? And depicted in their different sculptures, okay? They were big on homosexuality, man, and that sodomite behavior, okay? Just full of lust, right? Full of lust. Just like the woman in that video, man. She's like, well, I want to do it. If I want to be in a polyamory so that he can feel how I feel, okay? Just full of lust, man. Full of lust. Not understanding the greater purpose of a polygynous relationship, all right? But yeah, I'll grab a little bit, okay? It says Greek homosexuality has been set upon a pedestal, deemed a worthy and respectable model for romance by philosophers, writers, and lovers alike. Yeah, man. And even in college, man, I remember I had this professor that was trying to, and I think he was a fruit, okay? But he was, trying to teach us, how in the Greek culture, man, two men being together was seen as like the highest form of love, okay? You got to understand, man, these Greeks and these Romans, man, they was big on that shit. And our people adopted that mindset, okay? To this day, all right? Black Lives Matter, man, is nothing more than just, supporters of the alphabet community, okay? Nothing more, man, because their leaders is a so-called black woman and different, trans activists and all that shit, man. Why? Because our people have adopted the ways of the heathen, okay? So I'm going to show you in these scriptures, all right? But yeah, it says the reality is, though, that love and sex for the queer community owe more to the ancient Romans. So you see this shit, man, like they're trying to battle and see which one was the most queer, which one had the most sodomite behavior going on, the Greeks or the Romans, right? It says their approach was grittier, dirtier, and sometimes just as romantic. However, it's an outlook on sex and love we are only now coming to embrace. This is just wicked, man. It says ancient Greece's appeal to gay men is much better known. So I don't even want to grab a lot of this, but it goes into talking about how the Greco-Roman Empire, man, they were big on homosexuality and orgies and that sodomite behavior, right? You can research these things. You can easily research them, man, and it won't be hard to come across this knowledge, right? But you can go into that, right? But I don't want to go too deep into this because I really don't care, to continue reading this article. But yes, the Greeks and the Romans were big on homosexuality, all right? So they'd rather you be, all right, with another man as a man or a woman with another woman versus you being in a polygynous relationship. And we see that same theme today in modern, all right, westernized society. Okay, we see that same thing. I'm pretty sure every state now allows for same-sex marriage. However, polygyny is still frowned upon to this day. You see that? Why? Because America is Rome all over again, man. And they carry these same vibrations, okay? Which is why this place is going to be destroyed, all right? Which is why also the Most High calls this place Sodom, all right? Spiritually, this place is known as Sodom because they're giving into these same practices to this day. Okay, now, like I said, I want to show you in the book of Romans, all right, and 2nd Maccabees, all right, that the Israelites were heavily given into the ancient, the Roman and the Greek cultures, all right, and ways of doing things, okay, dealing with that sodomite behavior, right? That was not something that, our law allowed, and that was not something we was on at first, right? But you Israelites, man, you so-called blacks, Latinos, man, and Native Americans, all right, y'all being brainwashed, okay, thinking that it's okay to be homosexuals or trans or a part of the alphabet community, all that shit, man. Now, when you read in the book of Romans, man, this was the Apostle Paul writing to the Israelites that are in Rome, okay? The Gentiles here are referring to Israelites, all right, that ultimately didn't know that they were Israelites. They grew up in, for example, they grew up in Rome, okay? These Israelites that the Apostle Paul is writing to, they grew up in Rome, okay? So just like you grew up in America, man, before we came into this truth, we didn't know that we was Israelites, okay? We would identify as what? An American, all right? Or, they would call us an African American, all right? But you ultimately identify as, the land region, okay, that you live in, okay? And, it even says that, I think in the book of Maccabees, how it was unlawful dealing with the Greeks. Okay, it was unlawful for us Israelites to identify as an Israelite. Okay, meaning you would have had to identify as a Greek, or in Rome, you would have had to identify as a Roman. Okay, and proof showing you that this was the Apostle Paul writing to the Romans, man, or the Israelites that were in Rome. Read Romans chapter 4, the first verse. Okay, read Romans chapter 4, the first verse, right? Read Romans chapter 9, verses 4 and 5, okay? Read Romans chapter, Romans chapter 11, okay? This is all proof Paul is writing to Israelites that are in Rome, okay? And for the sake of time, and I'm not going to show you individually and go to all of those, but if you don't believe it, man, go ahead and read those, and it gives you the proof, man. All right? Yahawah was coming for the Israelites pertaining to the flesh, okay? There's no such thing as a spiritual Israelite, man. He was going to Israelites, all right, in these different places where we are scattered, all right? All right, he was going to Israelites after the flesh, man, not no spiritual, Israelite, not to no heathen, okay? But nonetheless, man, this is Romans chapter 1 and 24. It says, wherefore the Most High also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. It says, who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie and worshiped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. Here's the point. It says, for this cause the Most High gave them up unto vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. Okay, that's sodomite behavior, man. It says, and likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burn in their lust one toward another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error, which was meat. Okay, you see that? So this shows you, man, that the Israelites that were in Rome, all right, and the Israelites that were in Greece, were doing what the heathen was doing. Okay, and we just went over that article, man, that they were big on homosexuality, okay, as well as orgies, okay, and a lot of other type of, sodomite behavior. Okay, so you see that? Verse it says, for this cause the Most High gave them up unto vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. So when that woman in the video, man, said, I want to be a part of that one so that he could feel how I feel. That is against nature, right? Like I went over, man, you don't have the hormones, you don't have the proper material, right? You don't have the package, man, to be able to give that woman what, she needs, okay? You don't have that, all right? You weren't born with that. You were not designed for that, okay? There's no, scriptures don't talk about how, same-sex relationship forms a union. There's no union form for that. Ultimately, you're just burning in your lust, okay? And you are doing what the heathen were doing, man, which leads to your destruction, okay? So that's just showing you, man, that the Israelites who were in Rome were big on those practices, okay, and adopted the lifestyle, all right, of the Romans, okay, but also when we were under the Greek captivity as well, okay, but you read about the Greek captivity in the book of Maccabees, all right. So let's just go ahead and jump to the point. It's the 2nd Maccabees chapter 4, verse 13. Okay, we'll get to the points. It says, now such was the height of Greek fashions. Okay, now understand, man, this is when the Greeks ultimately had us Israelites in captivity. Okay, so they they went through and they set up their wicked idols and things in our temple. Okay, and they made it to where we had to begin to adopt their cultures and their practices. Okay, so much so that you had the Maccabees, all right, Judas Maccabees, all right, his brothers, all right. You had a small group of Israelites that went off to live in the wilderness, all right, so that they wouldn't pick up the ways of the heathen. Okay, and then they end up going to war against them, all right, and ended up taking our land back from them damn Greeks. Okay, and then that's ultimately where Hanukkah comes from, right? But I'm not going to go too much into that, but let's just get to the point. Because this is when the Greeks had us in captivity, all right, under Alexander the Greek, okay, Alexander the Creep, all right. It says, now such was the height of Greek fashions and an increase of heathenish manners through the exceeding profaneness of Jason, that ungodly wretch, and no high priest, that the priest had no courage to serve any more at the altar, but despising the temple and neglecting the sacrifices. Okay, so a lot of our people were abandoning, all right, our our law, okay, and what we were supposed to be doing. It says, hasten to be partakers of the unlawful allowance in the place of the exercise, after the game of discus called them forth. Okay, so they start doing the shit that the Greeks was on. Okay, here's the point though. It says, not setting by the honors of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all. Okay, you see that? So our people abandoned the honors of their fathers, man, or forefathers, okay, who knew they was Israelites, who actively upheld the Israelite culture, okay, and our heritage, all right. These Israelites, man, who were in captivity under the Greeks, they liked doing what the Greeks was doing, okay? It says, not setting by the honors of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all, okay? So they liked participating in the ways of those heathen, man. The Romans and the Greeks. We just read that, right? And this is why when you fast forward to today, a lot of our people subscribe to the alphabet community, okay? A lot of them, man. Even Black Lives Matter, that's really all that is, okay? Now you see why. Because our people, the wicked of our people, all right, embrace that. Okay, that's why they join the frats and sororities. Okay, which are pagan, man. Those are Greek customs. Okay, rooted in the worship of false gods. Okay. All right. So yeah, I just wanted to grab those two scriptures, man, showing you that even something like monogamy would have been adopted by our people, man. They would have abandoned, what they grew up on or what their forefathers was on and start doing what, the heathen was doing. Okay. And that's why they frown upon polygyny today, not knowing that that was something your forefathers, your foremothers practice, man. Do I need to pull that chart back up? Okay. All of these men, right, had multiple wives, man. So meaning these women had sister wives and they were okay with it. They understood it. Okay. You people, our people, man, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, man, this is your history. Okay. And like I said, we weren't even the only nation that practiced polygyny. Okay. A lot of ancient cultures did, man. A lot of them. All right. Now, I'm not going to grab this just, for the sake of time, but I do have scriptures pulled up dealing with laws concerning polygyny. Okay. Exodus 21:10 says, if he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. You see that? So even, y'all emotions are taken into the equation. We're not going to treat you as a lesser wife. Okay. Because we're, just because we're getting another. Okay. Because that's our law. We understand that. Right. Deuteronomy 21:15. All right. Let's see here. Yeah. Deuteronomy 21:15. You can read that. Leviticus 18:18. How we're not supposed to, have two wives that are sisters. Okay. If you have a wife and then she has a sister, you can't take both of them to be your wife. Right. Let's see here. Okay. So yeah, man, a few precepts dealing with that. Now let's go ahead and end it off with the Isaiah 4:1. Okay, and then I'll grab Isaiah the 60th chapter, showing you that in these times as they progress, when all hell breaks loose and you have a shortage of men, even more of a shortage of men, all right, due to warfare, all right, pestilence and famine. Okay, a lot of women are going to begin to come back into that polygynous mind frame, man. They're going to ultimately put off this modern westernized Greco-Roman type mindset, right? And fall back in the line. Okay, they're going to come back into how the things used to be. Okay, so this is Isaiah 4:1. It says, and in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, right? And that's a ratio. Okay, 7-1. This is a polygynous relationship, man. This has not happened yet. Okay, this is clearly a future prophecy connotation. Okay, and if you read down, you come into that understanding. Okay, because this is when, which I'm gonna grab it, verse 2, right? I'm gonna grab it. Okay, so it says, yeah, and in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, right? Saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Okay, so these women are going to come into the mindset, when all hell's breaking loose. All right, you got purge like times out here. Okay, and it's just chaos. When you turn to your right and when you turn to your left, okay, they're going to come into the mindset, and they're not going to have that feminist mind frame, man. They're not going to be, they're not going to have an issue having multiple sister wives. Okay, they're just not. All right, they're going to be humbled. Ultimately, it's going to be, it's going to get to the point to where the Most High is going to have these women. A lot of them are going to be humbled. Okay, and they're going to embrace these things like they once did in ancient cultures. Okay. It says, only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. You see that? So they're going to be trying to find the men of the Lord. All right. 7+ women. Okay. Are going to be trying to find the men of the Lord ultimately so that their shame and wickedness can be washed away. Okay. So that their reproach can be washed away, man. So that they can hopefully receive salvation. Okay. And they're going to realize it in that day. Okay. Verse 2, it says, in that day shall the branch of Yahweh be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel. Right? You see that? So this is showing you, man, that this is future connotation, right? Them that are escaped of Israel are going to be those who are saved, all right, during this second Exodus, okay? Because they're going to escape what? That destruction, okay, of thermonuclear fire from World War III, okay? You see that? So it says, in that day shall the branch of Yahweh be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel, right? And then, so now this leads me to Isaiah the 60th chapter, okay? Because it starts on this side, man, when all hell breaks loose, but it's going to lead into the kingdom, right? So like I said earlier, polygyny will be commonplace in the kingdom to come, right? Isaiah chapter 60, verse 21. It says, thy people also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever, the branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified, okay? And this is when the Israelites finally get back into our land again, okay? Here's the point, though. It says a little one, a child, okay, a kid, a little one shall become 1,000, okay? A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one shall become a strong nation. I, Yahawah, will hasten it in his time, okay? So you see that? How does a child become 1,000, okay? A lot of sex, man. You have a lot of wives, okay? You have to have a lot of wives, man, to have 1,000 children, okay? Or to have a strong nation, okay? And this is what we was going over, man. This is why it was practiced in ancient times, okay? Because why? They were trying to build power, okay, and wealth, right? And all those different things, okay? Let me reread it again. It says, a little one, which is a child, man, shall become 1,000, and a small one, a strong nation. I, Yahawah, will hasten it in his time. So this is clearly a precept of Isaiah 4:1, okay? Dealing with when the 7 women that are going to take hold of a man of the Lord in these times, man, those are going to be his wives, some of his wives that are going to carry over in the kingdom to come. And when you understand the Most High, he tells you that there's nothing new under the sun, right? So, you know, when the Most High flooded the earth, man, when he flooded the earth, man, it was a lot of people that was destroyed. Matter of fact, everybody was destroyed except for 8 souls, okay? So Noah and his 3 sons and their wives had to repopulate the earth, man. So when the Most High destroys the earth this time, what's going to happen? The men that are left, man, the men of the Lord, okay, are going to have to repopulate, okay? Because it's going to be a lot of people, all right? Hundreds of millions to billions of people that are going to be destroyed in these times, man. So you see that? The Most High is going to do the same stuff, man. We're going to have to repopulate, all right? That's why he says he's going to hasten it in our time, okay? You know, if you had one woman, okay, well, you know, she had that child in her womb for 9 months before she gave birth, okay? So that would, you can't, a woman would never ever be able to produce 1,000 children, okay? Period, all right? One woman could not produce 1,000 children, okay? Yet alone a strong nation, okay? This is clearly showing you, man, there's going to be multiple wives, all right, that are going to be had, all right, in the kingdom, okay? So yeah, man, you know, that'll pretty much wrap it up. That'll pretty much wrap it up, man. Polygyny was a commonplace practice before the Greco-Roman Empire, and it is coming back. Okay, it is coming back. You know, a lot of you women, man, hopefully you've gained an understanding of it as to why it's so very beneficial to everybody. Okay, you know, and all those things. And even if you don't, you know, it really doesn't matter, man. If you still have a problem with it, you want to be emotional about it, it does not matter, because it's still going to come. All right. If you know you got a problem getting jiggy with it, you're more than likely going to be destroyed anyways. Okay, because you had a mindset that it's not fair and that you want to do it too. So you're going to end up doing something that's contrary to the law. You're going to get destroyed. Right. So with that, you know, I'll go ahead and end it off. Give all praises to Yahawah, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Yahawah Kakadash. All right. And say shalom to the next one.